in a state of mind that isn't desperate. I have to,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of times, let's face it, we live in a time and place when money means so much. And the cost of everything since COVID, as we all know, has risen dramatically and put a
Yes.
strain on everyone.
Everybody. Yeah.
And for me, when I'm in a place of being completely stressed out, I
Mm-hmm.
don't think clearly. My heart isn't clear.
Same
My,
here.
yeah, I think most of us, we experience stress basically the same way,
Right.
variations, but we don't do our best under stress until we look at that. For me, until I look at that stress,
Mm-hmm.
learn how to use it to help me.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, sometimes the stress is just telling me, stop stressing.
Oh my God. Are you speaking to me right now?
I mean, it's and
Yeah.
so and a lot of times it's easier said than done, and a lot of that has to do too with how what we were taught, in our homes.
Uh-huh.
Did your mom walk around wringing her hands, worrying about everything all the time, and your dad was out drinking or whatever the case may be?
Mm-hmm.
Or did you come from a family where everybody sat down together and they spoke in love and relationship instead of everyone being separate?
Yeah, exactly.
We all learn that all our skills come from different places, and
Right.
and even as an adult, you know for me, I know a lot of the things that I'm doing is like, why am I doing this? This is how my parents did stuff. And I'm constantly trying not to be my family
Yeah.
and to do things differently. And for the most part of my life, I succeeded. Very rarely was I ever even a part of my birth family.
Mm-hmm.
They were just different than I was.
Yeah, that you mentioned that before, and you just feel you don't fit in a way.
Well, my friends would come when any friends I had would come over to my parents' house.
Uh-huh.
When upon leaving, they'd ask me, "Are you adopted?"
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just a different thinker than my family.
Yeah. Well, that makes you unique, and like I mentioned before in the previous episode, I mentioned that we've been taught different is sometimes not a good thing, But now at this point, for especially you have so much experience, life experience, you know this difference is actually a good thing, not what school taught or the society taught. Said you're different, so you're bad. Like
Yeah,
this
there's
is
no shame attached to it
right.
because my mother shamed me all through my teenage, it was all through my
Oh,
adolescence. I mean, just through my teenage years, I was shamed by her,
oh wow.
and I ended up not really liking my mother. I mean,
Mm,
there was no, at any rate, it was very complicated. Well, it didn't have to be a complicated. She just didn't like who I was because I was a
mm,
free thinker. I was an artist. I was just
yeah.
not them. I wasn't a simple Southern Baptist Christian who had two ideas. It's either sin or not sin. I saw a different picture. I looked up at the stars. I saw the cosmos. I had a telescope.
Yes.
I saw beyond, there was so much that I wanted inside me that they didn't have.
Yeah,
Of
and they
course,
probably don't understand. That's why. At the
they
same,
did. They did not. My
yeah,
my mother spent her whole entire life trying to change me to something that she could accept.
normal.
How bad is that? It's like at 60 years old, my mother's still trying to mother me. And it's like, what is wrong with you? It's like with my kids, by the time they were 25, well, actually, by the time they were 20,
Uh-huh.
I had no say in their life. If
Did
I
you?
hadn't done the job by then, there was no job going to be done. If they came to me for any kind of advice or anything and needed my help, that's
Mm-hmm.
different. But I wasn't trying to hover over them and tell them how to live their life.
Babysit. You're not babysitting.
Exactly. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm not a baby anymore. And my mother, and
Yeah.
some parents like to think that their children are their babies forever.
Yeah, I understand.
It's like I looked at my mother one day. I said, "Mom, what are you thinking? I've run my own business for 30 years.
Yeah.
I've traveled the world. I've gone surfing everywhere, and I've
Mhm.
done everything. It's like, why do you think I need your help?"
Mhm. Yeah, just like, well, if we're talking about Star Wars, just like that movie, the Darth Vader is actually the father of the Luke.
Exactly.
Is that funny?
Well, that was, probably one of the great freak out lines
Freak out lines.
of movie history.
I'm
No,
your father.
no, Luke, I am your father. After Luke tries to get his like, no, that's impossible. But for me, I
Mhm.
love the dark side because the dark side's honest. If you follow
Mhm.
the what would you call the good side of the force? There's the dark side, and then there's the other side. They never name the other side, do they?
Bright side. No, they
Well,
don't
that's what I'm
call that.
saying, the good side. But the dark side makes no pretense of its understanding of the truth. Now, if you watch like uh, Return of the Empire, or
Mhm.
when Luke goes to Dagobah system to be trained by Yoda,
Mhm.
he finds out about Darth Vader being his father, and then he asks Obi-Wan. He says, "Well, why didn't you tell me?" He said, "Well," he says that Anakin. When Anakin stopped being Anakin, he was no
Mhm.
longer his father from a certain point of view. See, so they
Right.
play with the truth a lot, right? It's
Right.
to me, it's kind of a black and white thing. It's like, well, he's either your dad or he's not. I mean, that's a genetic deal, isn't this? It's just
Yeah.
arguing that. And the dark side just says, this is black and white. I'm your dad. Believe it. If you don't, go ask Obi-Wan, right?
Uh-huh.
No pretense of being good and then screwing everybody down the line. And the Jedi constantly screw people down the line.
Mhm.
They're disingenuous, they're duplicitous. It's like, and there's Darth Vader. I'm going to kill you. One thing. It's like they got one thing, and we're gonna rule, we're gonna be evil. And if you'd learn the dark side, you'd be happy.
Yeah, I totally. Well, here's my thinking. As I said this before, if you're not in the dark side, or well, or downside, so struggling, then you will never realize the bright side because the lights only shine in the dark. That's what I said
Of
before.
course. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I think like what our experience, our going been through right now is a little bit shaky. It's actually you and I seeing the lights by all these conversation. That's part of the enlightenment, like you said,
And,
enlightenment.
and
Yeah,
the first conversation that we had is the one that actually turned on the light.
the podcast episode.
No, no,
Person.
no. When we were at dinner that night, and
Oh, okay.
you asked me that question.
Wow.
I brought to you. I gave you the answer. You're like, I could tell shock waves went through you, and it was like, oh my God, she knows, because we'd never had that conversation before.
Exactly. Yes, I
And
know.
I was going to approach you on that. And it's like, but it was like Christmas time when we were doing, remember we were at that restaurant?
Is it this past Christmas or
Past Christmas, we were at the restaurant down there.
yes,
Uh,
San Pedro?
no, no, no. We were at the where the old Marina Hotel was, that that center that there.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
you know which one I'm
Mhm.
talking about?
Okay. Yeah. Yes.
Well, we were in that restaurant, and
Uh-huh.
you said something, I said something back. You looked at me, and I said, "Well," and then we started talking about it,
I know.
and it's like, see, to me, that's when a light went on for me. It's like,
Wow.
oh my god, I'm being given somebody to mentor.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I've walked the path before you,
Mhm.
and here you are asking those same questions, that I asked at one point in my life.
Really? Wow.
Of course, I mean,
Ooh.
the questions are basically the same when we're seeking something outside of ourselves, which is actually inside of ourselves.
Mhm.
You know,
Very true. Yes.
uh, and all this that we're talking about coincides with all mythologies, that the hero, and how we have to
Mhm.
uh, we suffer a loss. We walk through the valley of the shadow of death, and then we get enlightenment. We get an idea that we get spiritual help or cosmic help, however you want to, and
Yeah.
our vision changes, hopefully.
Yes, it does. My vision, like I mentioned before, my vision, my purpose, and the things that I was thinking or feel that's important for me, it's all changed now.
And it can change again tomorrow, depending upon what you discover in the next couple of days. You know,
Yes.
and and hopefully it does. Hopefully, my understanding of things can expand all the time.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but if I get pretty set in my thinking and it becomes rigid, I get
Mhm.
locked in the box.
Exactly. Yes.
I create the box that I live in.
Yes. So that's why I've been saying that thinking outside the box, or saying, or make a comment outside of the box, because only when you step outside the box you will find exploring something new. Otherwise, every day just like repeating
You're on the
throughout
treadmill.
your entire life, every day just the same. You're not gonna.
Well, you're on the treadmill to oblivion, basically.
Yes. So this second diagram you sent it to me, it's divided into a another journey. It's a
Well, it's the same
oriented
journey.
world.
It's the
Um,
same journey. It's just more layers to it. It's has more parts to it, as you can see. I think it's a little bit better because it breaks it down.